You guys, let's do a story time and some gum chewing and hairbrushing. And this is an actual wig, a $16 wig from Amazon, and I'll post the link in the description box below in case you're interested. Like a real cheapy wig. Anyways, I had mentioned I would share my Kobe story, and I'll just start off by saying no, we never met him in person, and no, we were never at a Lakers basketball game to see Kobe play basketball either. However, it wasn't until the day he and his daughter died that all these lovely Kobe moments came to mind, and I realized I was affected. And I'll probably always remember the moment I heard Kobe had died, which is now not quite a week ago, 2 weeks ago. No, I don't even think it was 2 weeks ago. Maybe a little over a week ago, but my daughter and I were sitting on the couch in the middle of something exciting. She's scrolling her phone when she says, "But this is weird. Facebook says Kobe and his daughter died." And for any of you who have been on Facebook, so many times on Facebook, I would see that so-and-so died, so-and-so died. And it was always a famous person, and they didn't really die. Now, I haven't seen those recently, so maybe someone got after them. They quit doing them. But the second she said that, I said, if you saw that on Facebook, it's probably fake. And she's scrolling and looking. But because it mentioned his daughter, and I'm learning about all the things about kids. You know, with YouTube, they have this huge thing about kids. You can't have kids in a video. You can't advertise the kids, all this stuff. I thought, oh my goodness, you can't joke about kids, especially celebrity kids or you know, politicians and their kids. That's a big no-no, and you can get in big trouble. So, I never moved so fast in my whole life. I sprinted. Yes, I sprinted from the couch to the back bedroom, turned on the news, and she was right. And I just sat there and on the bed, and I yelled out. I didn't want to get up and miss the news, and I said, it's true. And she came in the back bedroom. There was something on the big TV, so we didn't want to interrupt my husband. We're just sitting there, not saying a word, because it happened right here in Ventura County, just a few miles. Calabasas, a few miles. You know, my apologies. I do believe Calabasas technically is LA County. Somewhere Calabasas and Agoura is the county line, so I apologize. I do believe Calabasas is technically LA County. And we're just sitting there listening. Can't believe it. I have a sister that lives in Calabasas. Like, Calabasas is so part of our life. Agoura, Calabasas, it seems like you don't really get into LA County till you get to like Woodland Hills area, but they were on their way to Ventura County Airport. They were on their way here to the airport to go to Thousand Oaks, which is another close to home. Our kids went to school in Thousand Oaks. I have relatives in Thousand Oaks. Grew up in Simi Valley, right next to Thousand Oaks. So everything they mentioned about Kobe and his daughter dying in the accident was hitting home, like second after second. Me and my daughter are sitting there, like, cannot believe it. So, the memories that started flowing were, and this will be a huge revelation about a secret part of my life prior to YouTube that I've never mentioned, never shared, never said anything about. Not because I wanted to hide it or be secretive about it, but I couldn't find a way to talk about it without being bragging, boastful, or look at us. I just never could find a nice way to make a video about it, but this is a very nice way to make a video about it. Well, we were a foster family back in the day when our girls were in junior high and high school. We became a foster family, and we were foster parents to 7 kids. We did that up until approximately, I'm going to say 2004, when our kids were graduated from high school. And we started, I believe, in 1999 or 2000. And our first foster child was a junior high girl. And then we got a brother and sister. Then we got another brother and sister. And then we got 2 brothers. And so there were 3 pair of brother and sister. And like I said, the first one was a junior high girl. It was just a lovely experience. So nice to have them, but so terribly sad when they go back home. One or two of the boys got adopted out to our friends, and that was nice. So, and you try to keep contact. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes not so easy. So anyways, the way Kobe came into this is you realize how life is, and you're such a product of your environment. And we learned so much being foster parents, and really learned how to be more compassionate and loving towards others. By having the foster kids, it was just a real life experience, and you realize, my goodness, a whole life can be changed simply because of your environment, simply because of who's around you or not around you. And I really understand that better today. Okay, so here we are, and I've always been a sports, I guess you'd have to say, the tomboy of the family. So I was all that. I was the best basketball player on our team, the best volleyball, and softball was city softball. But the reason I was the best is we went to small Catholic school. And I always wonder, had I been in a public school, would I have been all that? And probably not. But let me tell you, to be in Catholic school my whole life. And my whole life, up until the day I graduated high school, I was always the center, the basketball center. I was never subbed out. I was never on the bench. And I think in high school I got to be so humdrum. I was good and I wasn't even like trying or putting out my best. And I was still good. And I look at that and I think, oh my goodness, that was something. So I would watch basketball back in the day when Chick Hearn was the Laker guy. They played at the Forum, I believe, in my junior high years. It was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jerry West. I can see him, can't recall the names. Was it Larry Bird? No, Larry Bird. He was the Indiana guy, but somehow it seemed like he got hooked up with the Lakers. But anyway, my basketball information and stats is long gone, but back to Kobe. When we had our foster kids, I am telling you, it seemed like Lakers won like 2 different times in a row. They won like back-to-back championships. I am telling you, that's how I learned about sports. There is something about sports that breaks all barriers, and Kobe did that for our family and our foster kids, especially the boys, but the girls got into it also. So the one boy loved Kobe so much, which I was not crazy about Kobe, because every once in a while I'd see a smirk or a look on his face that was terrible. In my mind, it was a terrible smirk. Now, I know it's just me, but I couldn't get that look off my mind because it just looked like a mean smirk, like a smirk that I had seen all the kids, everybody's kids have. That wasn't nice. So, that was upsetting. And then later on, he had the scandal with the Colorado girl scandal, and that was really upsetting because I realized how many young people, are watching and listening and hearing. And I just wish our young people could have like a perfect sports person to admire. Crazy expectation, but that was kind of my attitude about Kobe. But the one after he won, Lakers won like back-to-back championships. He wanted a Kobe jersey. We got him a Kobe jersey. I cannot remember if it was an 8 or 24 number. And I remember thinking, like, this is really something. My whole life, I've been a sports gal. Never bought like a real jersey from anybody or any sports person anywhere. And here, this is my first authentic purchasing a sports item. And it's Kobe. It's for our young foster son and grammar school still at the time, who's so excited. And that was just a very loving memory. And how sports, when we would watch the championships, and we really didn't watch them during the year as much. If we did, we did. If we did not, that was okay. But when they got to championship time, oh my goodness, it was like a whole party every time, and we had the best time. And all the problems that the kids had in real life and things we had to deal with the courts and just all the things that come into being a foster parent, it disappeared, it was diminished, and we were all on the same playing field. We had the best time. So I think of that, I thought of that when Kobe died, like it was all about him for that one boy, which brought all the other kids together rooting with him for Kobe. And then it seems like they won another back-to-back championship. And I could be wrong. Like I said, my basketball stats are kind of off. It's been a while. And then, Kobe and Shaq were a thing. And it was exciting and fun. And then they couldn't get the championships back, and then we lost touch until he retired. And I remember feeling bad, thinking, too bad he kind of has to retire because of his body. But how we go through that, like our mind wants to do one thing, but our body won't let us. That's just sad for anybody. I know I go through that, and I think to myself, oh my goodness, I used to be able to do this and this and this, and I still want to do this, and this, but my body won't let me. And so I remember that when he retired, and probably, as I'm getting ready to close the video, when I think about what was the biggest impact, how he was coming here to Thousand Oaks. He was working with the young women with some kind of basketball league or basketball club he had going here in Thousand Oaks, which is just right up the road. How here he was, retired with everything, family, kids, money, home. He had it all. And he was still as driven after attaining all of that and going through body aches and pains. It was like he never stopped or took a break and said, oh, I did it, and let up. And the reason I think that is so impressive is because when I look at my life, I used to run too. I used to jog, and that was my goal when I turned 30. I wanted to do the Lompoc Half Marathon. I did the Lompoc Half Marathon. I wanted to make sure I finished it and that I jogged the whole way. That was my goal. That was my age 30 goal. When I turned 30, I want to do the half marathon, and I want to be sure that I jog the whole way. I don't want to walk any part of it. And obviously I want to finish it, and that's what happened. After I did that, that was the end of my running. I could not mentally get into doing any more running. I really do believe it was my mind saying, well, I did it. And when you do the half marathon, everybody knows you can easily do a marathon, and I knew I could do it, but I had no drive to pursue it. It was like, I did this. I know I could do the marathon. I don't have to prove that to anybody. Kobe wasn't that way. He kept going. And what's the other thing? Like today, here I am. I just turned 60, and I see so many things. I see these young people making millions of dollars on YouTube, and I think to myself, where is my drive? Where is my spunk? When I was a young person in my 20s and 30s, if I could have that back, I'd be doing videos like them and making money like them. And I chuckled to myself because the answer is there is no drive because there's no need. I do not have to prove it to myself. And that's my final answer, as terrible as it is. I think if I was in a different situation financially and just social environment, and I needed to, I definitely could, because I know how I am. It was the Angela before YouTube. I could do everything and anything I put my mind to. And that's what I'll remember about Kobe as being like over the top awesome. Is tons of people have done tons of great things, but I don't know anybody else like him at that age after retirement, just turning 40, who has the same drive at the end like they did at the beginning. That is something. And maybe you can ask around, depending on how old you are, your parents, your grandparents, your peers. See if that's true for the people in your life. But so, in closing, when I think of what Kobe brought to our family time when we had our foster kids, it was wonderful. And I'll always realize now how sports breaks all barriers. You get together with the ones who love the sports, and boom, you're there. Anyways, I'm grateful to him for that, and how he always had his drive and never lost it. That is something. Not everybody has that. Anyways, I'm sure I rambled on this one. But that might be something we could talk about in the future, how we even became a foster family. That in itself is like a cool story. But we'll see. I don't know how many people would really be interested in that. So, thanks for watching.